Alina had dreamt of this day for as long as she could remember. Today was supposed to change her life forever. Today, she was going to meet the man she was promised to marry. A billionaire, powerful, untouchable. The world would finally see her. The world would finally acknowledge her worth. Or so she thought. Cut to Alina in her apartment. Soft daylight streaming through sheer curtains. She's in front of a mirror, adjusting a delicate dress, her hands trembling slightly. Her reflection smiled back at her, fragile but hopeful. Every brushstroke of makeup, every fold of her dress, was a small act of courage. Because Alina knew she wasn't the youngest, the most flawless, or the most dazzling woman in the room. But her heart was pure, and she believed that was enough. Scene. Alina stepping into a sleek black car. The city passes by in a blur as she rehearses her words, practicing polite smiles and graceful nods. Alina's inner thoughts voiceover. Just be yourself. Calm, confident. They'll see who I am. They'll see my heart. Scene. The mansion. Sunlight glints off polished floors and crystal chandeliers. Alina enters the dining hall. A man stands at the far end, tall, impeccably dressed, commanding every inch of space. This is Alexander, the billionaire CEO. His eyes glance at her, barely noticing her presence. He looked at her the way one glances at an object. Something beautiful, yet insignificant. And in that moment, Alina felt the first prick of doubt, sharp, cold, and unforgiving. Alexander gestures for her to sit. He does not rise. He does not smile. He simply studies her, like a jeweler examining a diamond for flaws. Alexander calm, slightly dismissive. So you're Alina. The simplicity of his words felt like a verdict being passed. She nodded, her throat tight, fighting back a trembling breath. Every instinct screamed that this was the moment she would either soar or shatter. They begin the conversation. Alexander asks questions about her family, her education, her life. Alina answers carefully, her voice soft but steady. She smiles politely, hoping to connect. But the man's eyes are cold, calculating, unyielding. Alexander leaning back, voice measured. You're quite accomplished. But tell me, how old are you? Alina hesitates, her fingers tightening around the edge of the table. The words feel heavier than they should. She answers softly, Alina voice barely above a whisper. 28. A silence hangs. The kind of silence that stretches and echoes, pressing down like an invisible weight. Alexander's lips curl, not into a smile, but a smirk that feels sharp, cutting through her chest. Alexander cold, precise. 28. That's old for a bride. I need someone younger, more vibrant, more promising. Alina freezes. Her heart stalls. Her eyes well up, but she blinks rapidly, trying to maintain composure. Every dream she had nurtured, every hope she had clung to, shattered in that single, merciless sentence. Too old, the words echoed in her mind, louder than the chandeliers above, louder than the city outside. Too old for love. Too old for a future she had imagined. Too old for happiness. Cut to Alina leaving the mansion. Sunlight now seems harsh, glaring, exposing every flaw she feels in herself. Her footsteps echo on the marble floor, heavy, uncertain. Alina's inner thoughts voiceover, shaky. Was I really too old? Was I never enough? How could he say that? After all these years of waiting, all these years of believing. Scene. Alina walks down the mansion steps. The city stretches before her, beautiful but indifferent. Luxury cars rush past, unaware of her devastation. She pauses at the curb, struggling to breathe, clutching her bag as if it could hold her broken heart together. She had faced disappointment before. She had faced loneliness. But nothing had felt like this, being rejected not for her actions, not for her mistakes, but for something she could not control. Her age, her worth judged by a number, by a man who had no idea what it meant to truly love. Cut to a sleek black car parked across the street. Tinted windows hide the driver inside, but one figure watches her, silent, unblinking. The faint glint of sunlight reflects off his watch as he observes her every move. Alina, unaware, steps forward, lost in her thoughts. And that was when she noticed him, the man in the shadows, watching, waiting. She didn't know who he was. She didn't know why he was there. But something deep inside whispered. He was going to change everything. The camera zooms on her trembling hand clutching the strap of her bag. The wind flutters her hair across her face. A single tear slips down her cheek. She looks up, just in time to see the figure in the car fade from view as the engine roars and the vehicle disappears into traffic. Alina didn't know it yet, but the life she thought was over was only the beginning of a story far darker, far more dangerous, and far more real than she could have ever imagined. Alina thought the rejection had left her shattered, but what she didn't know was that someone had been watching, someone who saw more than her age, more than her heartbreak, someone who saw her strength even when she couldn't see it herself. Cut to a shadowed alley. A sleek black car is parked, engine idling quietly. Inside, a tall, commanding man leans back in the leather seat, fingers steepled. This is Dante, the notorious Mafia boss. His piercing eyes follow Alina from a distance. Dante was a man of power, feared by many, respected by all. But there was a code beneath the ruthlessness, a code that few ever glimpsed. And today, that code whispered. She needed protection. See, Alina pauses at a crosswalk, fumbling with her bag. A cyclist loses control nearby, skidding dangerously toward her. Time seems to stretch. She freezes, heart hammering. It happened in a heartbeat. Too fast to think, too sudden to react. And yet, someone was already there. Dante steps out from the shadows, catching her with one firm hand. The cyclist crashes harmlessly behind them. Alina stumbles back, shocked, staring up at the stranger who saved her. Alina breathless, voice trembling. Thank you I don't know how. Dante calm, commanding, yet gentle. You don't need to. Just stay close. It's not safe here. Alina's mind races. She notices his tailored suit, the dark sunglasses, the aura of danger. Her instincts scream to run, yet something unexplainable, makes her stay. He was danger wrapped in control, a storm in a man's body. And yet, there was something comforting, something undeniably protective. For the first time since Alexander's words, Alina felt seen. Seen. Dante walks with Alina through the crowded streets, keeping a measured distance. He watches every corner, every shadow, like a predator and protector at once. Alina's curiosity grows, but so does her fear. Alina's inner thoughts voice over. Who is he? Why is he helping me? I don't even know him. And yet, I feel safe. Seen. They reach a quiet cafe. Sunlight streams through the windows, but there's an edge of tension in every glance Dante throws toward the door. He gestures for her to sit, and she hesitates, unsure if this is a trap or a sanctuary. Dante wasn't used to hesitancy. He wasn't used to fear in the people he protected. But Alina was different. She didn't beg, didn't plead. She just existed, and that existence demanded attention. Alina sips her coffee nervously, eyes darting around. Dante's gaze is unwavering, steady, almost unnerving. Dante calm, measured. You've been hurt. Alina flinches slightly, surprised by his insight. Alina quietly, almost whispering. You don't know me. Dante leaning slightly forward, intense. I know enough. Enough to see you don't need pity. You need someone who won't let the world break you. And I intend to be that person. Alina's heart pounds. She wants to look away, to deny the strange pull she feels. But his sincerity, it's undeniable and terrifying. She had spent her life waiting for love. She had spent her life hoping for validation. And now, a man she barely knew offered her something far stranger, far rarer than flattery or comfort: protection, respect, recognition. Seen. Outside, shadows shift. Men in dark suits appear, watching from a distance. Alina doesn't notice, but Dante does, his jaw tightening. He signals subtly, and the threat disperses like smoke under his command. The world Dante lived in was dangerous. One misstep could cost a life, and Alina was already in the crosshairs. Someone wanted to hurt her, to humiliate her further. And Dante, he wouldn't allow it. Scene. Alina steps outside the cafe, the sunlight harsh now, unforgiving. Dante stays close, his presence a shield she can't explain, a warmth that feels foreign and terrifying. Alina's inner thoughts voice over. Why am I trusting him? Why do I feel safe with a man I barely know? This doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense. Scene. Dante stops her at the curb. He removes his sunglasses, revealing eyes that are intense, calculating, but softer than the world allows. He speaks quietly, but every word carries weight. Dante low, serious. Tomorrow, someone will try to hurt you again. I will be there, and you will not face it alone. Alina swallows hard, her chest tight with a mixture of fear and strange anticipation. She knows she can't ask questions, can't demand explanations. Yet a spark of hope ignites. For the first time since Alexander's cruel dismissal, Alina felt something stir inside her. Not love, not yet, but a recognition that perhaps life still had a plan. That perhaps she wasn't meant to be broken. That perhaps her story had only just begun. Scene. Dante watches her walk away down the bustling street, blending into the sunlight. He leans against the cafe wall, silent, calculating. His phone buzzes. A message flashes. She's in danger. Confirmed. Dante knew the world wouldn't wait, and neither would the people who wanted to see her suffer. The game had begun, and Alina, unaware, had stepped onto the board. Alina had survived the day. Somehow, she had walked away from the cruel dismissal of a man who judged her worth by a number. But surviving wasn't living. And Dante was about to teach her the difference. Scene. Dante's mansion, a fortress disguised as luxury. Alina hesitates at the massive door, her heart pounding. She had never imagined stepping into the world of a man like him. Alina's inner thoughts voice over. This is insane. I barely know him. He's dangerous. And yet, why do I feel drawn to him? Scene. Dante opens the door, tall and commanding, yet not unkind. The sunlight glints off his dark suit as he gestures her inside. Dante calm, measured. Come in. Don't worry. You're safe here. Alina steps inside, her eyes widening at the blend of opulence and controlled darkness. Crystal chandeliers hang above, but shadows linger in corners. The air smells faintly of leather and cigars. It is beautiful and terrifying. Alina's life had always been simple, predictable, and safe, but Danny's world was nothing like that. And yet, she couldn't look away. Scene. She follows Dante through the halls. He leads her to a sitting room bathed in sunlight. Large windows reveal the city below, sprawling and indifferent. He gestures for her to sit. Dante serious, softening slightly. You don't have to speak. Just be here. Safe. Alina sits cautiously, feeling the weight of his gaze. It's not judgmental. It's measured, observant, almost protective. She had spent her life hiding from judgment, from cruelty. And now, a man who could destroy worlds was offering her something she never expected. Not wealth, not power, but attention, care, respect. Scene. Dante sits opposite her, hands clasped, his voice calm but commanding. Dante, you've been through a lot. The world has told you who you are and who you should be. But I don't care about what they say. I see you, not as broken, not as rejected, but as capable, strong, worth protecting. Alina flinches slightly. His words pierce through the wall she had built around her heart. She doesn't know whether to be angry, suspicious, or grateful. Alina voice barely above a whisper. Why are you helping me? Dante leaning forward, eyes intense. Because some things in this world are worth protecting, and some people are worth believing in. You, Alina, are one of them. Scene. Silence fills the room. Alina struggles with the mix of fear and comfort that Dante brings. She notices small things, the way he watches her, not as an object, but with calculation and concern. Every gesture feels deliberate, controlled, protective. She didn't trust him. She didn't understand him. And yet, for the first time in weeks, Alina felt alive. The corners of her heart, frayed and broken, began to stir, and for the first time, she dared to hope. Scene. Dante walks her through his world, a training of sorts, teaching her awareness, confidence, and subtle strength. He demonstrates how to notice threats, how to stay calm under pressure. Alina follows reluctantly, but curiosity grows with each lesson. Alina's inner thoughts voice over. Why am I learning this? Why am I following him? This feels wrong, and yet so right. I feel stronger, safer, like someone finally sees me for more than what I am supposed to be. Scene. A tense moment. They hear a car skidding outside, the unmistakable sound of someone watching. Dante immediately goes rigid, scanning the streets. Alina freezes, heart pounding. The world Dante lived in was unforgiving. Danger lurked in every shadow, in every whispered conversation. And Alina was being drawn into it, whether she wanted to or not. Dante steps closer to her, protective, his presence overwhelming. Dante low, commanding. Stay behind me. Alina obeys instinctively, feeling a mix of fear and trust she cannot explain. The threat passes, unseen, and Dante exhales, finally letting his gaze return to her. Dante softer, almost vulnerable. You don't have to be afraid. Not with me. Alina meets his eyes. There's something unspoken in that moment. Trust, connection, and a strange sense of belonging. Her chest tightens, emotions she doesn't fully understand bubbling to the surface. She had been abandoned by hope, rejected by society. But here, with this man she barely knew, Alina began to feel something dangerous, something unfamiliar, something that could change everything. Scene. Dante walks her to the balcony. Sunlight falls over the city like liquid gold. He leans on the railing, silent. Alina watches him, the tension between them growing. Alina hesitant, whispering, I don't know if I can do this. This world, your world, it's too much. Dante without looking at her, calm but intense. You can. You just have to believe you can. The world won't wait for anyone, Alina. But you have a choice. And I won't let anyone take that away from you. Alina swallows hard, feeling both terrified and exhilarated. She doesn't fully understand the man before her, but she begins to understand herself. For the first time in years, she feels capable, not broken, alive, not rejected. In that sunlight, with the city sprawling endlessly below, Alina realized something profound. The man who had saved her wasn't just a protector. He was a mirror, showing her strength she had forgotten, showing her courage she never knew she had, showing her that love could exist even in the darkest corners. Scene. Dante watches her from the shadows as she steps back into the room. A message buzzes on his phone. The CEO is making moves. He won't let her go so easily. Alina's life had been simple, predictable, and painfully ordinary. But that life was gone. Tomorrow would bring danger, intrigue, and the first real test of the bond between her and the man who would change everything. Alina had survived rejection, heartbreak, and fear. She had begun to understand courage. But today, courage would be tested like never before. Today, she would face the man who had once told her she was too old to matter, and she wouldn't face him alone. Scene. Alina, dressed elegantly but simply, steps out of a sleek black car. Dante is beside her, calm, commanding, radiating power. His presence is like a shield she can feel even without touching him. Alina's inner thoughts voice over. This is it. The man who broke me once is here. And yet, I don't feel afraid. Not completely. Not with him. Scene. They enter the grand ballroom. The crowd is dazzling, the music lively, but Alina feels the tension beneath it all. And then she sees him, Alexander, standing tall, arrogant, perfectly polished, with a smile that is more weapon than expression. He had no idea that the woman he dismissed had grown stronger, wiser, unbreakable, and he had no idea the man standing beside her would ensure she would never be hurt again. Alexander notices her, his eyes narrowing slightly, calculating. He approaches with a charming, confident smile. Alexander smooth, dismissive. Alina, I didn't expect to see you here. Alina lifts her chin, her gaze steady, meeting his eyes without flinching. Dante's presence is reassuring, silent, powerful. Alina calm, poised. I'm here, Alexander, and I'm not what you think. Scene. Alexander smirks, a hint of arrogance in his expression, clearly attempting to intimidate her. Alexander, still holding on to hope, I see. Still pretending. You matter. Don't you realize your time has passed? Alina's chest tightens, but she doesn't step back. Danny's hand subtly brushes hers, not in a touch of romance, but a silent assurance. Strength flows through her. Confidence she didn't know she had. Alina voice steady, cutting through the tension. No, my time is now. Not for you. Not for anyone who thinks they can decide my worth. Scene. The crowd senses tension. Whispers float through the room. Alexander's confident facade falters ever so slightly as he notices Dandy's calm, unyielding stare. The billionaire CEO, used to controlling every room, every person, suddenly realized he was no longer in control, and that realization terrified him more than any confrontation could. Alexander attempts to manipulate her, using past words to provoke emotion, testing her composure. Alexander, you were never enough, Alina. Never the right age, never the right choice. Nothing. Alina takes a deep breath, her eyes flicking to Dante, whose intense gaze tells her, you are not alone. Stand tall. Alina firm, voice filled with quiet fire. You were wrong. I am enough. And you will never decide my worth again. Scene. Alexander's smirk hardens into frustration. The tension rises. Guests notice the palpable danger. Dante's hand hovers subtly near his coat pocket, a silent warning to anyone daring to interfere. Alina feels a mix of fear and adrenaline, her heart racing, but her mind clear. For the first time, she saw what true power looked like. Not arrogance, not money, not status. Real power was quiet, precise, protective, and it belonged to the man at her side. Alexander, infuriated and humiliated, subtly signals someone in the crowd. A man steps forward, reaching for Alina's champagne glass. The movement is fast, almost invisible. Danger was closer than she thought. Someone wanted to humiliate her again, to ruin her in front of everyone. But Dante had already anticipated it. Dante's hand shoots out, intercepting the man with precise control. The would-be assailant freezes, eyes wide, realizing he has underestimated Dante. The crowd gasps, a mix of shock and awe. Dante low, dangerous, commanding. I suggest you leave before you regret it. The man retreats, the threat neutralized. Alina's chest heaves, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She glances at Dante, awe and gratitude blending with something deeper, something dangerous. Alina whispered, emotional. Thank you for protecting me. Dante soft, almost unreachable. You never needed saving. You just needed someone to make sure you weren't alone when danger came. Scene. Alexander, furious but composed, takes a step back, realizing he is powerless in the face of Dante's presence. The balance of control has shifted entirely. For the first time, Alina felt it. Real love wasn't just words or gifts. Real love was protection, respect, courage, and the unshakable certainty that someone would stand by you, even when the world tried to break you. Scene. Outside, the sun now casts long shadows across the street. Alina and Dante walk away from the gala, side by side. The city is quiet, deceptive, as if it holds secrets of what is yet to come. The showdown was over. Alexander had failed to control her, to belittle her, to humiliate her. And Alina had discovered something more valuable than wealth, than status, than the validation of a man who once rejected her. She had discovered strength, courage, and the first spark of a love she never thought possible. Scene. Dante pauses, looking at her, intense and unreadable. His phone buzzes, a single message flashes. The battle isn't over. He won't give up. Alina thought today had been the climax of her struggle. But the truth was, the game had only just begun, and the life she had begun to build with Dante would soon face its ultimate testament. Alina had survived rejection, danger, and betrayal. She had faced a man who had once told her she was too old to matter, and she had walked away stronger, unbroken. But surviving was one thing. Living, truly living, was another, and for that, she needed courage. Scene. Dante joins her on the balcony, silent, powerful, yet calm. He studies her, not like a man looking at a woman, but like someone measuring a soul, fragile yet resilient. Dante soft, low. You did well today. Alina glances at him, unsure how to respond. His praise is rare, measured, meaningful. Alina whispering, emotional. I couldn't have without you. Dante gently, almost vulnerable. You could have. You just didn't know it yet. I only reminded you what you already had inside. For the first time, Alina realized that protection was not the same as control. Dante's presence had never been about ownership. It had been about choice. And in that choice she found freedom. Scene. Inside the mansion, sunlight streams across marble floors. Alina and Dante sit across from each other. Dante's expression is unreadable, but his eyes, intense, unwavering, speak volumes. Dante. Alexander won't stop. He thinks power can bend you, but strength, real strength, comes from within, and you have it. Alina swallows hard, feeling the weight of truth in his words. Alina quietly, reflective. I used to believe my worth was decided by others, by men like him, but now, I know it isn't. It's mine. I decided. Dante studies her for a moment, a flicker of emotion crossing his face. For the first time, he allows himself a small, genuine smile. In the shadows of his world, where danger was constant and loyalty was currency, Alina had found something she never expected. Not just safety, not just protection, but understanding, respect, and the first taste of love that didn't demand anything less than who she truly was. Scene. Suddenly, Dante's phone buzzes. A message flashes. Alexander has escalated. He won't give up. Dante's face hardens, his calm facade shifting into controlled intensity. The world outside their sanctuary was relentless. Alexander's pride and obsession would not allow him to vanish quietly. The danger was far from over, and Alina knew it. Scene. Dante takes her hand, firm but gentle. The sunlight reflects off his watch, glinting like a warning. Alina's heart races, not from fear, but from trust and anticipation. Dante intense, protective. Whatever comes next, we face it together. No one hurts you. Not now. Not ever. Alina squeezes his hand, a mixture of gratitude, fear, and something deeper stirring inside her. Alina voice trembling, emotional. I don't know what I would do without you. She didn't need to know. She only needed to feel it. The certainty that someone powerful, dangerous, and yet unexpectedly gentle had chosen to stand by her. And that choice was love. Scene. The mansion garden. Sunlight filters through the trees, creating patterns on the marble paths. Alina walks beside Dante, both alert, both aware that the world outside is full of threats. But for the first time, fear does not dominate her. Courage does. And trust does. Alina had walked into Dante's world as a woman rejected, humiliated, and broken. She walked out of it. Not healed completely, but alive, strong, and ready. Ready to face danger. ready to claim her life, ready to love and be loved in ways she had never imagined. Scene. A sudden movement. Alexander appears, watching from a distance, fury and obsession etched across his face. But Dante's eyes catch him instantly. Alina tenses, fear rising. But Dante's presence is unwavering, a shield made of steel and determination. The battle wasn't over. Alexander's pride wouldn't allow it. But now, Alina was no longer alone. She had strength. She had courage. She had someone who would face any danger for her. And in the world of shadows, that was more powerful than any fortune, any title, any weapon. Scene. Dante steps forward, protective, confident. Alina's hand finds his, and for a moment, the world outside doesn't exist. Sunlight dances across the garden, shadows stretching, creating a scene both beautiful and dangerous. Dante calm, yet unyielding. Whatever he does, whatever he plans, it won't matter. Not to you. Not ever. Alina meets his eyes. The fear that had haunted her for years begins to fade. What remains is something stronger, trust, hope, and a growing, undeniable bond. In a world of power, danger, and secrets, love had found its way into the shadows. And Alina, the woman once deemed too old, too insignificant, had discovered the truth. Love isn't about perfection. Love isn't about approval. Love is protection, respect, courage, and the choice to stand together no matter the odds. Scene. Dante and Alina stand together on the balcony, looking out over the city. The sun begins to set, casting long golden shadows. The camera pulls back, showing them framed against the skyline, two figures against a world full of power, danger, and intrigue. Alina had learned the hard way that life doesn't wait for anyone. She had faced rejection, humiliation, and danger, but in the end, she had found something far more valuable than wealth, far more enduring than fame. She had found love, a love that was fearless, unyielding, and real, and in a world full of shadows. That love would guide her forward. If this story gave you chills, left your heart racing, or made you believe in the power of courage and love, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more thrilling, emotional stories that will leave you breathless.